want to welcome y'all to Tonedeftestimonies. Yeah, let's get it. Straight out the gate, it's time to separate. When the work is this hot, you can't wait till it bakes. When you're known to call shots, it's red dots to the face. A marathon, not a race, when you hear the trail blaze. Unfazed, I'm attacking airwaves. I ignite the nights, making waves in the bay. I'm the mouth of the South, what more can I say? I don't hesitate, cause I just elevate. This is my moment to shine, I'm a component of life. And if you're not about that grind, you're an opponent of mine. I put it all on the line, in pursuit of my prime. I stand tall on my stance, there ain't no stopping my stride. Ain't nothing phony or fake, ain't in this game for the fame. I'm in this thing for the change, impacting lives on the way. Bringing life to the stories, giving God all the glory. Through the shine and the gory, tone deaf testimonies. Yeah, this is when we get real. This is when we get to learn more. This is when we get to dive deeper. This is that real. This is that authentic. This is that genuine. This is tone deaf testimonies.
All right, what's going on, everybody? This is your boy, Tone Capone. I'm the host of Ignite the Night out here in Tampa Bay, which is a performance-based series been going on 6+ years. We have been on hiatus since March, man. It's crazy. We've done some virtual events and things to keep the ball rolling, but we haven't actually done an event since, well, at least a virtual event since June or July, I think it is now. It's crazy, man. But the host of that, I'm the host of Waves of the Bay, which is a radio show that comes on FM radio 88.5 in Tampa Bay every Saturday night from 10 until midnight. Let me shout out my buddy, my partner in crime, DJ Spaceship, for doing what he does and being a part of everything we got going on. But sometimes I like to interview people. I just don't have enough time to get to all the questions I want, or have the restraints of the radio and the language and things like that. And I don't really get to, get that full grasp of the person. So because of that, the Tone Deaf Testimonies was born. And with that being said, I have one of my favorite people to work with right across from me on the Zoom call right now. We're going to be chopping it up, get to know more about him and more about what he has going on. But let me go ahead and introduce the world to my buddy, my brother, Big Business. Big Biz, what's going on with you, bro?
What's going on, brother? Doing pretty good. Just out here working. You know how that goes. It's
yeah, it don't stop.
No.
It definitely don't stop, man. That calendar turn, it's just like, damn, now what we gonna do? We can't use 2020 as an excuse no more. We got to get 2021 popping. Like, damn.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how it started out, but I think that I talked with somebody recently and they were like, you know what? I think it's the slate being cleared out for new growth, new opportunity. And it's like when you think of weather, like when a tornado or a hurricane hits, like it wipes out everything, but it wipes it clean for something new to happen, something new, innovative.
You gotta destroy to rebuild.
Yeah. So we're being destroyed.
I kind of, and honestly, you was like the first person I thought about when all this 2020 stuff started going down because of everything you got going on. But like for me, like me and Shit was talking on the radio a couple weeks back or whatever. I think it was a New Year's show. And we was just talking about 2020 vision. And when it comes to 2020 vision, everybody says hindsight is 2020. When we look back into last year, 2020, man, you could tell that like it was an eye-opening experience across the board. And just like you said, a lot of people's slates got wiped clean. So with that being said, I know like the 2020 movie, the movie that you guys were doing, 2020 Vision, did not pop off how it was supposed to.
Not at
was
all.
Was that like the beginning of like the 2020 Jumanji experience for you, or what, man? Because last year was just, for one, thank you for adapting, because you definitely made a move and adapted last year. So I appreciate that. But explain to me how 2020 just did you, bro?
Well, I'll say this. A lot of people, they look to you for what they want from a situation based upon what they see in you and what's in your eye. You understand what I'm saying? So there's a saying where people say, okay, the people who fail to plan to fail. But what we learned is for the most, you can't plan for everything. You can't plan for everything, and you can't plan for other people's minds. So what I will say is, with the movie project, we were successful. When we start out with the positives, we were successful in making a documentary about the movie making process. That was something that was totally new to me, but I felt was necessary as a vehicle for artists in art, point blank period, whether you're an actor, aspiring actor, especially musicians, because one of the things that I've always tried to do through my work, more so in the past 4 to 5 years, is include other people and be a vehicle for something greater.
Mm-hmm.
And many of the people who were in the project were artists within their own right. Now, the script writing process, the monetary aspect, I have been working on that for a number of years, dating back all the way 3 to 4 years ago, is when this all really started with What's Real Hip Hop, the web series. So the
Has
kind
it been that long now?
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. We're talking about 3-4 years because we're in 21 now. That's the thing.
Right.
Yeah, we're in 21 now. So we're talking about 2017. I started What's Real Hip Hop and started interviewing people and forming relationships with people. And that's the one thing that I think 2020 taught us. If you don't have good relationships, man, people who checking on you, it could be it could be a life or death situation, and you don't have somebody checking on you. Think about how many people died just because they didn't have somebody looking out for them in their time of need. Whether it be physical health, whether it be mental health that led to the physical health decline. It's important. It's important, and that was what 2020 Vision was mainly focused about: mental health awareness and substance abuse. So not to go too far off of what you were asking about, how did it impact me? Well, I'm the type of person who I have a standard. And until I meet what I'm okay with, I really don't rest well. I just really don't rest well when the project started to go left, because straight up and down, I could do all kind of explicatives and cuss and do all that kind of stuff. But truth of the matter is, I don't do it, not because I don't cuss, but I don't do it because for the most part, it's just venting, and it makes you sound weak a lot of the time.
Right.
And I don't like to put weakness on display. You know what I mean? This is what we do. It has its ups and downs. It just does. And I think when people don't see the downsides, they miss a part of the journey. And 2020, the documentary, which we're trying to get into film festivals this year, we submitted to a couple last year, is about the journey. And so many people are so obsessed about the destination, like they really know what the destination is going to be. This documentary really makes you appreciate the journey. So when it gets to the point to where success happens, you now see the low points. And 2020 definitely was a low point for a lot of people last year.
It really was, man. And you hit on it. And this, honestly, like one of the best events I've done, like one of the most rewarding events, was the one that we did together, where it was talking about mental health. But during the Rona, man, like that kicked a lot of people's ass, man. And, I'll tell you a personal story. My grandpa passed away right after a lot of like the Rona started letting up. He passed away in November. But he would have been in a hospice since March. And
Wow.
because of all the Rona rules and everything, my mom could not see him from March until November. So as soon as they lifted that up and he was finally able to get some visitors in, he passed away like a couple weeks later. But imagine, man, like you got somebody you love, you don't get to see them for their last breath. They don't have anybody around them. They're feeling all lonely. Like
Sure.
it's a major thing. It's an underlying part that a lot of people don't even think about because like we're so wrapped up in ourselves, you don't think about how other people are dealing with it too, man. So it's a crazy, crazy, crazy year, man. I hope this year gets better, but I hope everybody is battle tested and battle ready just in case it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Because this shit shit crazy, bro.
Well, and the thing about it is you what you feed grows. What you feed grows. So if you feed positive thoughts, man, one thing that and I almost do it on a regular basis more now is I visualize what success tastes like, smells like, sounds like, and if you're able to touch it, what it feels like, because the thing that you focus on grows, and you need to be able to have those visions. When we're a child, we have such an imagination to where our brain waves are able to kind of function on a higher level, almost like a genius level IQ from a creativity standpoint. And then what happens is we're told, no, you can't do this. No, this can't happen. No, you can't go there. No, you can't
Right.
try that. And then the part of us that really is so creative and innovative starts to die. And we start to really think sometimes that things aren't possible. Dreams can't happen. Miracles can't happen. And I think that's so important to do something. Creatives build a part into their life to where these things that were told to them weren't true. It gives you an outlet to make them come true. And that happens in the movies, that happens in music and other programming.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I'm glad you hit on that too, because you mean that's the role as a promoter right there. Like we have to adapt, period. So like when we're putting on events, sometimes there's events that we don't really care to put on, but it's not
Yeah,
about us. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? It's a bigger motive and a bigger obstacle, bigger challenge, a bigger idea going on, than
Mm-hmm.
us. So I just bro, I appreciate you so much, man. You're so innovative. Like when it comes to these events and stuff, like do you line up the talent or the topic first? Because transition talks, man, you're covering a wide range of everything, bro.
Honestly, and thank you for that, by the way. People like yourself who are out here doing it, you know, compliments hit different. You understand what I'm saying? In terms of you feel like, okay, something's being accomplished because people that you respect and admire in certain respects are recognizing that there's something that they can benefit from. So this is who it's for. What Transition Talks is for, is for the people who are trying to get inspiration and information and some entertainment. But it has to be purposeful for me at this point to try to do it. It has to be something that I'm passionate about. And one thing I've stepped up is my amount of studying of things before I actually put together events or topics. So recently, I did an interview with Stephen Lally. He writes. He's a comedian. He's been a comedian for 25 years, and he's written for Cat Williams. But in Cat Williams' prime, we're talking like '08, top comedian in the world,
Before he
Cat
started getting
Williams,
all
and
that
he's written
trouble.
for yeah, started getting all that trouble. But the thing about it is, and he brought some things to light. He's also met Eddie Murphy, but this level of success, man, you're. He said basically that man was the top comedian for at least 2 years before he got his just due, and he named people who were that flash in the pan. You
Hmm.
remember them, but he's like Larry the Cable Guy was ahead of him. I say Larry the Cable Guy, like I remember him, but he was like a flash.
Right.
But in like '07, like he was that thing. Um, and Dane Cook, you haven't heard anything from Dane Cook
You haven't heard that name in a long ass time, bro.
long time. But at that
Yeah.
time, he was on top, and it shows you how important momentum is. And the the things that hold us back that are also the things that shape us into becoming that diamond. And unfortunately, what society doesn't understand is certain diamonds don't shine all the time. Doesn't mean they're not a diamond. It just means that, they done went through something, man. And they're not gonna, shine and gleam all the
Maybe
time.
they need to be cleaned up a little bit.
Got to be cleaned and restored
Mm-hmm.
by society. I mean, you look at, and there's a few examples of people who were able to restore their finish. I'll call it that because, Dave Chappelle was gone for 10 years. And it wasn't that he wasn't still a genius. He wasn't still funny. It was just, he's fighting for his life. He's fighting for his sanity. And luckily we were able to see him in a different light at a different stage in his life. He still has the content. He still has the viewpoints. He still has a message that's relevant to people, but it just went away for 10 years. But he was still a diamond, still is.
How do you feel like something like that relates to your music, man? I know you started off doing music to begin with, and then you've transitioned to hosting and curating and things like that. So how do you feel like that applies?
I'm gonna be honest with you with my music. I think music taught me a lot. But I will be honest in saying that the type of music that I wanted to make was it was like soundtracked, make you think about what you're doing and what you want to change about your life type music. And I'll be
Real life music.
Yeah, real life music,
Yeah.
but I don't think people were really going to appreciate my music the way it was because it didn't make them think about what was popular. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Right.
We might as well spill the tea on that. I'm a giving person, but for as many people as I try to do songs with, I got very little reception in return of that. Like if I reach out and I'm paying for studio time and this and that and the other, very few people called me back and said, "Hey, I want you on my track." I felt like I was trying to include people in what I was doing, and you can't force people to do what you want them to do. You have to let them do what comes naturally.
Right.
And for me, I felt like the amount of work I was putting in to music is just one way to communicate a powerful message. But I feel like it wasn't really serving me after being on the radio and after having a certain amount of success. I felt like DJs look at musicians sometimes as they need me or I'm the gatekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that if you want the traditional relationship with DJs, I had to get into a lane where people know I don't need you to survive and live. Creatives want to create. Whether I get played through your platform or not is not my focus. My focus is really on communicating with people, making people get to a level of they could connect with what was being said. It was reflection, commentary, and it involved people to make something bigger than when it started. That's where I started to evolve with the messages, and that's why the web series and the movies and things like that just allows people to make a larger statement, and it's not having to be about something that's in this narrow one-dimensional time frame of reference.
Is that something that you had worked on previously, like in some like capacity, like putting like shows together or putting things together, like what you're doing, like what's real hip hop and transition talks, or is that something that just came about from your need to be different?
What's real hip hop? That web series that was a brainchild of mine based upon it was a idea of what I was seeing in music, and then what I was seeing here, locally between the shift in time of I was starting to get a little bit older, and in terms of hip hop, it's not like rock music, it's not like country music. They don't let us age the same.
You see these
And
white hairs, it's over.
yeah, it's like, oh, you know, if you're 35, that's like 47 in rap years, you
Straight
know.
up.
So it's kind of like you start to age, you start to mature. I mean, you see Lil Wayne selling his masters. I mean, why do you think he's doing that? He doesn't think his music's probably going to age as well. And I think it's a smart business move, because I couldn't see his music being played 20 years from now with the same type of
You know how much money we get for streams, Doug? Like streams is like a fraction of a penny.
right.
Exactly. So I can dig it, man. Get your money while you still here to enjoy it, and go make some new music. You know what I'm saying?
So the value of what we do as musicians, you're spending, we just run the numbers. You're spending, studio time, whatever that's going to cost you, to make the beat from scratch, or to make the composition with a team. We're already at somewhere between $200 to $500. Now they want the visuals to be crisp. So now you want the visuals to be crispy. You're paying $500 to $1,000, low ball. Now you're getting streaming, and you're getting a fraction of a penny for your streams.
Mm-hmm.
And you spent $1,000 plus, and now it looks like you're just seeking attention from people. Hey, play this. It's like you're being put in the frame of someone who's begging for attention. Hey,
Right.
Look at me. Hey, look, this is hot. And the amount of machismo that's involved for people who are really, they're putting their life on the track, and you're begging for a play is what some people want to think you're doing. People say, let the music speak for themselves. But the thing is, there's so many things that are distracting, and some of them are actually not distractions. There's just life. It was easier to go to certain gatekeepers. It was easier to go to a 106 in Park, or Yo MTV Raps, or one of those people. If you got on that platform, you knew it had been
streamlined. Everything is right there, and vetted.
And what do you have now? You're searching for gold, and you can find it, but you're searching for gold with less time. And what does that give the artist? Unless you have some strong merchandising, marketing, promotions, which is more money. And who's to say that these people are that much better than someone else? It's just a better marketing and promotion plan in a lot of these cases. So,
and then on top of that, at the end of the day, you're going to have that luck aspect, because you can have all that stuff you just told me about, A1 and crispy, on tight, but it might be this dude that is cousin of whoever, or just has some type of in, and there you go. And you're just back here spinning wheels.
Yeah. And I know I made some quality music, but I also know that you evolve and you grow, and the people who evolve and grow at the greatest learning curve become greater earlier. When you think about Ice Cube and him jumping into movies, he already had that NWA experience. He knew that Ice Cube could have right now literally 10 platinum albums if he wanted to. But the thing about it is, platinum in what regard? What does streaming platinum mean? Does that mean that literally you got all of these plays and you got what, $15,000? Like, what does that mean? He came from a time frame where you were selling CDs $15. You were able to negotiate. Yeah, it's like, come on, man. Like, this is not where the money resides, bro. So where can I make a statement? He had been in Boys in the Hood. He saw what kind of cultural impact that made, and it had a very valuable lesson. So you do that, you see what that does. You're like, okay, you know what? You see higher learning. You participate in that. You see what that does. Working with John Singleton. To me, it was just like he had seen too much opportunity and growth, and people are still wearing Boys in the Hood t-shirts now, 25.
I got mine upstairs. Right.
Yeah. And the soundtrack was dope as all get out. So it was a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer. And, for me, I caught on the game a little bit later based upon my music experience. Honest truth be told, I stayed in music too long, if you ask me, because I didn't have a vehicle for my product. I really spent hours and hours and thousands of dollars on my product, but I didn't have that for my marketing game. So any artist right now who's watching, understand that a lot of things only go as far as the marketing plan will allow it to go. You have no real right to get upset and discouraged if you don't have a marketing budget to push this stuff, because it's not going to go anywhere unless you have a marketing budget and plan. And if you don't, you got to do certain things for free, because that is the market.
Man, artists out there, please soak that knowledge in right there, because a lot of people think that, oh, I'm just going to make this hot track. I'm going to get it in somebody's hands and my entire life is going to change. But in order to make it work, you have to work it, man. A lot of people leave that promotion side on the table. You know, like they're leaving meat on the bone. They're not actually getting the full meal out of it because they got a hot song, but they don't have any push behind it. They don't have any plan behind how to push it. And then they're going to drop more music behind that and more music behind that. And it's just the same music's just getting lost, you know?
Absolutely. And don't count on the DJ. I'm going to tell you that. Don't count on the DJ. The DJ's job is not to make your music hot. That's not their job. Their job is to spin what is viewed as hot. And
especially these radio station DJs, because they get told what to play. Like they don't even have an option to play what they want to. They already have it all loaded up here. You have to put it in sync. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, you know, and don't be afraid of feedback that you don't like. Just because your music is personal to you doesn't mean you have to take what the criticisms or points for improvement are personal. Too many people think like, man, I put my heart into that track. Bro, you could put a heart with no heartbeat into a person, and is that going to make them live? So it doesn't mean that you're not talented or gifted. It just means that, bro, they might not be trying to hear what you're saying, or you might not be saying something that they can hear. So evaluate the advice that you're getting from people you respect outside of your friendship group, because your friendship group, that's not who you need to be getting advice from.
That's a yes man right there. Don't get it. I mean, the music industry is full of sharks too, man. So you got your yes men friends, and then you're going to get out here with people that don't really give a fuck about you, and they're looking at you like a dollar sign. So, hey, hop on this mixtape. Oh yeah, it'll just be this much money, but I've never even listened to your music. I'm throwing shit at the wall to see what's going to stick, and it's going to stick because there's so many artists out there that are hungry for that attention, that are hungry for that shine, that they're willing to spend the money and don't even recoup their investment off it.
Right.
Just like you said, like artists doing music with you that never really show the favor back to you. You know, it's just like they're there for their one thing, and then after that, they're on to the next. Like they're just trying to ride the wave. You know,
absolutely. And I have to just be honest about it, because I'm not the type of person who sugarcoats things. Once you start to talk to me, you'll understand a little bit more, because I'm not going to divulge everything everywhere I go. But the thing is, artists, a lot of these people who you want to do music with, sometimes are looking at you as the bag. I'll do the feature for X amount. And then they take your fans. They're looking at it as an opportunity for growth.
And give you a half-ass verse on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, we have to call it out for what it is. The people who form a relationship with you in terms of, hey man, I like what you're doing. You know, keep up the good work, and don't ask you for anything off the gate. These are people who see value in what you're presenting. If they share your music, you know what I'm saying? If they're showing love, you know, things, you know, I'll compare it to the economy. A lot of these stimulus checks that keep getting to us, I think a lot of times people confuse what they're really trying to do. When people aren't spending money, it has a cause and effect relationship to how the U.S. economy works. So for loans to happen, people have to be spending money so banks can make money off of what people are spending. Because if I'm purchasing a house and I have a certain interest rate, if people are spending money, I can make that interest rate go up and make money off of those, you know, that 30-year APR, that loan. But if I'm in such a bad condition to where banks aren't even getting people trying to buy houses, trying to purchase cars, my money is not growing. It's drying up. So let's throw this little 600 out here, this little amount out here, so people will get some relief in order to do what they normally do. It's a normal thing to buy a house, to buy a car, to finance things that we can't afford. That's the American way. But when you have times that are as tough as these, people who take risk actually are positioning themselves to make more money in the future if they're making smart decisions. And the people who are so scared and holding on to their money and aren't willing to take that risk, their money's not growing. And that's the American way, you know, capitalism. How can I get people to spend money that they don't have so I can charge them interest on it so I can grow as a company or as a business from people buying things that they can't afford it. Most times at that time they can't afford it. They have to put it on paper.
It's like them casinos giving you free money to gamble with. They give you some free chips, free bonus points, whatever. That's what that is right there. They give you this, go play. And then once you're ready, come on back. Keep on spending that money with us.
Keep spending that money, you know, and you know, we have to be very conscious about how we spend money, especially people who are in some type of business. Understand what you want from it. Understand what you want from it. You know, this whole big business concept, you know, that was founded because I believe we are all our own business. Because in your lifetime, if you work a job for like $40,000 for 40 years, you're going to have $1 million come through your hands. That's a lot of money. It's not as much as it used to be, but that's a lot of money. What are you going to do with your business? Are you going to handle your business? Or are you going to go give all this money back just because you spend it and not really invest in self or others? So you got to handle your business.
Straight up, man. This is the Tone Deaf Testimonies. We're talking with big business over here. Former hip hop artist, curator, event promoter, jack of all trades, really, man. I want to take you back a little bit though, man, because I know you had hoop dreams when you was coming up, and you was one of the people that actually got to, you know, take that to the next level with it. So explain to me, like, what was your decision making behind going to like an HBCU versus like going to like a major, you know, mid-major or whatever the case may be? What was it about the HBCU that drew you in?
Well, I'll be honest with you. My parents actually met their freshman year in college at a HBCU, Florida A&M University. And, you know, they knew each other and they met. A lot of people don't know. People think I'm an outsider from Tampa. My mom is from Tampa. She went to Middleton High. I was raised in Winter Haven, but I always used to go to the Classic back in the day. Some of y'all might know about that in Tampa at Raymond James. You know, the culture was just amazing from a standpoint of you have literally back then 80 to 90,000 Blacks going to this game or coming into town for the festivities that was happening on Thanksgiving weekend. And just some amazing memories. We'd go to grandma's house and we'd be over there all week and we had the schedule laid out. So that culture was a family tradition and a family affair. When it came to going to a HBCU, honestly, this is a time frame where, you know, the thing about the Florida states and the Ohio states and all of these things, that's a relatively new concept in terms of African Americans having the opportunity to go to these schools. You know, in the 70s and early 80s, things were still largely segregated. There's places in the South, especially. My high school that I went to actually wasn't segregated until 1970. So 10 years later is 1980. And then when you start to think about the 80s, that's when these different schools started to build their football programs and allow African Americans into them. So I was born in an era where the transition was happening, but not quite complete. This is actually before, you know, The internet was popping like that. So if you had a tape, you talking about VHS tape, you had to send
Yep.
stuff like that. Not to get too far off of the point, but no, tradition is important. Tradition is important. And the HBCUs that were able to survive and thrive have rich histories. And Florida A&M is one. If you know the history of Florida A&M, established in 1887. Really the beginning of just Black excellence back in the day. When segregation was going on, they had their own law school. They had their own hospital. And this is like 19th century here.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like, and even go before that, it was FAMC before it's Florida A&M University. And you had all these people here improving themselves, and the opportunities to be seen by these majors was really, unless you were that dude, they weren't there. So a lot of that history and the opportunity not being seen contributed to me going to where my parents met, Florida A&M.
Man, I can imagine how that was back when you went there too, man. Because I know I went to shit. I've been out of college. I graduated college 04.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Shit, that's 20. God damn. I graduated 04 from Mighty Mizzou. Shout out Missouri. But yeah, man, it was I'm coming from the middle of Kansas. I didn't really experience too much racism in Kansas until I got outside of my city, because my city was right next to a military base, and we're one of the most diverse cities in all of Kansas to be 30,000 people big. But once I left my city, I seen eyes on me. I seen people following, things like that. Once I got to Missouri, racism really kicked off, because that shit, the stuff that was going on with Mike Brown and all that stuff, man, I got my ass whooped by the police in that same city when I was a sophomore in college. You know what I'm saying? I've had people driving behind me because I'm driving while Black, and all these other experiences, you know what I'm saying? So Missouri is just one of the most racist states I've been to. And the stuff that I was going through back in 03, 04 in college, the stuff that these young kids are still going over right now. Like a few years ago, Mizzou, the students, the athletes went on strike because of the shit that was going on at the school. And it's like, it's 15 something years later, and this shit's still popping off, man. It's just, people got to understand, man. That's why I like the HBCUs now. Like, I'm seeing a lot of like major athletes starting to transition towards going there. We're starting to try to like reclaim our power and things like that, man. So at a HBCU, like what's one of the things that you learned that you wouldn't have learned elsewhere?
Well, I'm gonna be very honest. We're hardest on ourselves. We're hardest on ourselves, but it comes from a place of love, and really just to kind of see where you're coming from and shape you. We look at ourselves and we're trying to find out and categorize for different reasons. I would say my experiences really were about 50-50, meaning that 50% of the people who I encountered really were trying to work with me and help me. And the other 50% were a little bit more towards trying to find out what my purpose was, and weren't exactly, trying to help me, but some of them became critical of what I was going to represent if I graduated from that school or that institution. There's a saying that says, if you can make it at FAMU, you can make it anywhere. A lot of that is because, coming from a small town that was not, quote unquote, real life. You get a different viewpoint when you go to a school that is literally, at that point, I think it was 91% African American and 9% other. So you're surrounded with
You're the majority.
Yeah, from all over the country. So many people from different locations. When I played ball, most of the people who I hung out with, and we had some cultural shifts because, I'm from Florida. I was country, but I wasn't country in terms of my mentality. I was just a little bit more of what you would call a gentleman. These people were escaping conditions to come to Florida because their idea of Florida was safety and Disneyland. So I had teammates from Long Beach, people who had, tattoos and came from rough experiences and had to get out and come to college was a way that they could get out of the hood and their lives. I went to people from Chicago, people from New York, people from these larger cities that really were coming to Florida to get a fresh start at an opportunity to experience life where they didn't feel like they had a target on their back, or if they didn't get out of that hood, the hood would swallow them alive. So a lot of hungry, some were more street than others, but a lot of hungry people who were used, who were trying to do something better with their life and use basketball as a ticket.
Word, man. Now we're going to get into the events that you got going on. A couple weeks here. In just one moment, but I gotta hit you with this question since it's still fresh, man. Like, I don't know about you, but when the Capitol insurrection happened, I wasn't expecting what I saw on TV when I cut the TV on. My wife was telling me, she's like, "Yo, they're protesting at the Capitol." All right, whatever. But let me cut the TV on right quick, and I cut it on, and I just seen like pure mayhem. So I want to know, like, for you, I know you've been following the Black Lives Matter movement. I know you've seen everything that's been going on last year as far as the police gearing up, the brutality against Black men and women. But like, how did it make you feel when you saw just the calamity going on at the Capitol last week?
I'm gonna be honest with you, and the thing about it is, I'll speak on topics like this, but I want people to understand I don't think like you. So I don't jump in the boat, and I don't necessarily go protest everything that I see occur, because I'm not going to jump on the boat until I do my research. I'll say the points, but a lot of times people jump on this bandwagon, and the Twitters and the feeds make people respond prematurely before finding out the information, and then you look like an idiot. So I want to preface it with, I don't think like other people. But I will say this, two things. You knew something was going to happen. You knew something was going to happen. You just didn't know it was going to be this. We know that pretty much in politics, how this underbelly of racism has been been bred and cultivated and mobilized in opposition to what was going on, which is the unrest of the cultural redistribution of wealth and appearance. That's really what a lot of this is really culminated from. Now, people ain't gonna say it, but you got 44 presidents that look one way, and then you have a Black. A lot of people, that was historically a huge mind shift, and people, who are afraid started to meet and mobilize. Okay, so let's take that. When people mobilize out of fear, chaos is easy to ensue after this fear being, lit with a match of, you better act now or this country will not be yours. This is the type of rhetoric that's being spread. So the storming of the Capitol, I wouldn't have predicted that, but I will say it was going to be something to where it either turned violent and people were going to die. When you have revolution, luckily a lot of people didn't die, but when you have revolution and people are feeling strongly about something, and you got somebody who's willing to die, somebody going to die. And that's every movement, the things that happen with Ferguson, like, people don't talk about it, but oh yeah, somebody died in all of these circumstances. They might not get the when you're talking about
headline.
Yeah, they're not going to talk about it. But somebody's going to get hurt, somebody's going to die. And when people are upset and frustrated, no matter what background, these types of things are going to happen. I wouldn't have predicted this, but it didn't surprise me in terms of you knew something was going to happen before, you just didn't know it was going to be that.
Do you feel like anything else is going to happen still? Like you feel like one more thing is coming before this inauguration happens?
I think that something's going to happen after the inauguration.
Okay.
I would say something's going to happen after the inauguration, and I'm going to tell you why. Because Biden getting into office for a lot of people was just the anti-Trump. It was just the anti-Trump. It wasn't that he was so strong in this category that I voted for him. He's just the anti-Trump.
Right.
And
the lesser of two evils.
Lesser of two evils, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I think is going to end up happening is in that first 6 months of him being in office, there's going to be some kind of controversy. I just would say, because this is a man, and this is where I lost interest. This is a man who did not want to run. He didn't want to run. And he's on record of saying he didn't want to run, and then comes back later and does run because of a sense of obligation to his country. But when people don't want to do something in the beginning, and he's old, you know what I'm saying? This man's almost 80 years old. This type of job can put this man in the grave, man. You know, but we've seen
it make presidents get older as it goes.
Make them get older, you know. Barack was a very young man when he went in, no gray hair. Hair. You know what I'm saying? By the time he comes out, this man coming out looking like Stonewall, you know, he's got all this stuff in there. You know, looking like he's almost AARP age, because it's a very aging process, and only the strong survive. I think there's an opportunity for Kamala Harris to really get involved and start to, but she's playing it right now. You know, don't come out the gate trying to overshadow. You know, you can have a lot of impact just by being in the room. So just be in the room, be yourself. But we didn't know the amount of power that Dick Cheney had until all those things came out about him deciding, we're going to invade, we're going to do this, and telling the president, let's do this, let's do that. We know there's power in that position, but we also have to be very careful about how we wield that sword, so to speak.
Word, man. I know you don't talk about this stuff often, so thank you for answering that for me, man, and giving some insight too, because that is a completely different viewpoint. So I appreciate that, man. And you telling me something earlier, man. You talking about how you started doing more research when it comes to transition talk. So is that extra level of preparation due to the events you've done in the past, or like what was it that caused that?
I would say my father says, prepare yourself and get in the way. As I've gotten older, what I've wanted to get myself in the way of was greater opportunity. And the type of people that I'm trying to get onto transition talks, the level of conversation I want to have has to reflect a level of competency, research, and evolution of thought. So and that's something that, that wasn't always the goal of what is almost a transcendence of what the goal is through the entertainment. There's one level with the music. You make songs to make people dance and do all that kind of stuff, and that's cool. You make songs that connect, but when you're talking about the power of the spoken word, this is where I personally believe, God gave us a responsibility, and not just the voice, to do what can be accomplished through what you speak and what you articulate and what you bring through what is communicated in your mind. So it starts inside of your mind. And I wanted to be able to say things that allowed greatness to flow from the conversations that were being had. So literally, and I don't want to give up my process because I don't want everybody to do everything.
You already know.
But I will say, you got to look up. You got to look up the information. You have to look up for the information, and you have to connect the dots. There's dots that the world doesn't know because the world doesn't prepare like I prepare or you prepare. So the preparation is going to come through in the execution of what you're trying to do, and you got to know what to connect. Sometimes we align ourselves with the wrong things because we're thinking that we're going to get what we need from that other thing. I don't look at things that way. If I'm interviewing somebody, I'm looking, whatever is going to come through me has to be in contact with me. And I got to go figure out what I need to be in contact with so something can come through me to the viewership.
Very true. Very true. So before we get into this main event that we're going to be talking about, I want to know, of all these years you've been doing events and putting things together, has there been one event or one topic or one thing that you've wanted to put out there that you just weren't able to make happen?
I'm gonna tell you something right now, and it's something I'm working on.
Don't give me all the meat. People be up here jacking stuff, but
They gonna jack, but I'm gonna say it because it's very relevant.
okay.
I think it's important to be able to give back and make money at the same time. And when people see that you can do both simultaneously, it's a beautiful thing. And I think that our community needs to see that go on simultaneously, so it can be and I say my people, our people. I'm not just talking about Black people. I'm talking about the people who are our collective consciousness. We're a society that affects each other through culture, arts, literature, communication, point blank, period. I want to be able to accomplish something where people are making money and then are actually being able to give at the same time. So these, philanthropic efforts that are going on, and I'm gonna just go on because it's something I'm working on, and it's just the truth. On the 29th coming up, I have an event where it's 2021. Let's make this year count. Let's make it great. It's a lyrics and laughter celebration. We have comedians. We have Ginger Kelly, Taurus, Sophia Sanchez, and Jay Legend, who recently won Central Florida comedic competition in a time when we need to be able to laugh and enjoy ourselves. Have them starting the show off and then finishing with 5 musical acts that range from R&B to hip hop. And it's going to be a great event. But to touch on something to pull off, I think that when people see you're able to make money and you're able to give at the same time, it makes people understand that exchange happens when goods and services are able to meet, and you see value in what the other person offers. And that's what we have to work on. And how that ties into what you were saying is, I did an event where it was a canned food drive, and a lot of stuff that I do, I take the hit financially on because I want people to know it's bigger than the money sometimes. Right. It's got to be bigger than the money, because if I'm doing this just for the money, I would not go this hard.
Right.
And with you, I know it's the same thing. Of course,
you understand what it is, man. This is not a get in and get rich type thing. No, if you actually care about it.
Yeah, this it's the only way. It's the only way. So in terms of that canned food went well, but I wanted it to be something that I want to be able to do something where on a much larger scale that everybody can feel good, because a certain group is helped, and then at the same time paid partnerships actually makes it to where there's a positive effect for people who make an investment in this giving. Again, marketing, marketing, marketing. You know, when you think of things like We Are the World, We Are the Children back in the day, all these all-stars got on the song and, you know, they weren't getting paid for that verse. But the relationships that they were able to cultivate led to the money. You know, those types of things are important because it starts with relationship, and it starts with relationship leads to paid partnership. And I know some people just want the roadmap, but that's not how life works. You have to start a relationship before you can get the paid partnership. And that's the meeting. You do something great together, and then we can lead to that money. And I think that I haven't been able to accomplish that on the level that I want to yet. Some success, but we're going to try to do something on that weekend of the 29th that does more of that. It does more of that.
So this is your first event of the year, 2021, man. As a promoter, how nervous are you about putting on a show during the Rona? Because I've hosted one show and I have not put any shows together. So I'm trying to figure out how you're feeling, because that's probably going to be how I'm going to be feeling too.
I'll be very honest with you. It's been very difficult to make people feel comfortable from, you know, business owner all the way down with what your vision is. And there's only so much I think we can do in terms of being safe. But I have to look at it like this. As long as you are adhering to the guidelines, there's very little else you can do. Like the event on the 29th is pre-ticketed sales only. But this is what people have to understand. Things are changing, okay? Things are changing, and we have to be willing to understand the change. Our idea of what is a good time has to change too. So we're going into events. You can't go in with the expectation of, you know, 200 people, packed house, screaming and cheering as a good time under these conditions. So what does that look like in terms of an event? To me, that's why I'm going into this comedic lane a little bit with these people who are providing comfort, where you don't have to get up and dance to, you know, laughing gives off endorphins, makes people feel good. You're able to do that from the comfort of your seat, masked up. You get a good laugh. You're able to have something to drink, something to eat. Shout out to Mike Deluxe. Flavors Deluxe is going to be in the house, slinging food. We got.
I ain't had them tacos in forever and a day.
Exactly. We're going to have him in the house slinging the tacos, and we're going to have Flavors Ice in there as well. So
shout out Shannon.
Yeah, shout out Shannon. So, you know, we're going to have food available for purchase. We're going to have, you know, some sweets available for purchase. We're going to obviously have the bar flowing as well. So anybody who has a need, it can be filled like in a restaurant, So this is a different environment, a different feel for what is being provided in an entertainment type situation. And that's going to be done with a social distancing aspect. It's going to be limited spacing available. We're not just letting any and everybody in there. It has a theme to it, white and denim. So we want people to come a little bit classy. Wear your white, you know what I'm saying, with the denim. Denim could be any color, you know, whether it be black, whether it be gray, whether it be blue. And we're going to have shout out to Sandcastle TV. Sandcastle TV is going to be in the house. He's going to be, you know, capturing some footage and whatnot. We're going to have a good time, and we're going to do it in a safe manner with the numbers to where it's almost like a private party. And I feel real comfortable with that.
Are you able to stream the event too, or is that something in the works as well?
The streaming of the event, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't plan to stream, and I've thought about it. I really thought about it, but what I want people to do is start to become comfortable with what I consider calculated risk. At this point in time, I really feel like everything is calculated risk. Um, the movies is so crazy because I was looking and I'm like, people are spending $20, like it costs $20 to see this new movie with Michael Ealy in it for Tao. On Amazon, they're trying to charge $20 to watch it from the comfort of your home. Okay. And, that's cool. But the thing about it too is I'm very mindful of the direction I'm trying to go. If I was doing like I did a free comedic show, a virtual showcase for comedians, I did that. And I want to do more of that. I want the people to come out to this event and have a safe experience. And the focus is really in the energy of you have to focus on what you're focused on. I'm focused on the energy in the room, the safety of the event. I feel like streaming would take away from my focus. And that's why I'm not streaming it, because you think about Saturday Night live entertainment has a lot of different things that go on to it. It takes a lot of preparation to make it go off well. It's just not my focus at this time on this particular event.
Got you. So January 29th, we're going to be at Crowbar, and you got Nat Keza rocking the DJ, right?
Oh yeah.
What was it about Nat Keza that you felt was her time to rise into the spotlight with this one?
She's been working so hard.
She has been, man.
Really hard.
I know you're one of the people that give her compliments too, because that's the type of dudes we are. You know what I'm saying? We like to give compliments while you guys can still appreciate them. So
you have to, because there's a lot of challenges that women face, point blank period, in the entertainment industry. And and I've seen you've been shouting out her and commenting her and encouraging her as well, which is great, because women experience different things, especially if they're an attractive female. They're judged by things that aren't based upon talent. It's based upon appearance. And, she started out doing the DJ thing. I went down to Sarasota and checked her out. I was actually impressed with what she was doing, but I know it's hard to come up with opportunities based upon what people are willing to take chances on. And I think it's important, especially people who you respect, you have to take chances on them at some point if you want to be able to take that relationship to a different level. And again, it has to come through paid partnership, man. We cannot just like and share a post and expect that to get us to the money and where the money resides. Everybody talking about where the money resides, but you also have to spend and invest in others as well as yourself to get to this location.
It ain't gonna come free, especially in this music game, man. It takes money to make money out here, for real. Yeah. Like, that's really what, in 2021, that's where we're at with it right now. So with that being said, artists, he's dropped a whole bunch of jewels tonight. Make sure you got your business right, because if you don't have that right, you're going to be missing the whole boat. So that's one thing that you guys take upon yourself. Get your business right. Google it, whatever you need to do. And that's a major, you want to make this a music career, you got to be business minded about it. So that's one thing I have to drop all you artists out there. Make sure y'all pay attention to that, man. This is the Tone Deaf Testimonies, man. We already went over time, but I got one more question for you. I told you was gonna be talking, man. Already, Doug. Already. I wasn't worried about. I was like, man, when am I going to shut this off? Is my worry. But what I want to know, since you've been so heavily involved, you've been in the trenches with the Tampa hip hop community, R&B community, movie making community. Let me do it like this, man. I want you to imagine a scenario where you have your own label, big business label, or whatever you want to call it, 2020 vision label, whatever. And you're able to sign, let's say, 4 artists to your label from Tampa Bay or, around here, from Florida, whatever the case may be. Let me go ahead and get those 4 artists you would gamble on.
Now you know that's
I know one name I need to hear, or else he's gonna whoop your ass.
that's a tough question. When I tell you it's a tough question, because I look at stuff like that and I'm like, okay, what would the media moguls do? Okay, what would the media moguls do? Because I got to go female and I got to go male, and I got to go people who are multifaceted. So obviously, I got to go from the team first, the people who I'm already rocking with, and uh, familiarity and brotherhood is important. It's important because the people who are talented aren't always going to do business wise right by you. And I'm going to say that again. The people who are talented are not going to always do business wise right for you. So the team I'm choosing is not going to be based upon what you base it on. It's not going to be based upon hot 16s and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be based upon people who have stayed true and people who have low enough ego to invest in the dream and the vision because they're already invested in it. So Haifa's definitely going to be on the team. Haifa's going to be on the team. You know, Haifa, and I got to brag on my people because I'm already messing.
Please do.
I got to brag. One of the most humble, heartfelt cats who has talents that people don't always see because he's not always going to brag about it or put it in your face. He's definitely on the scene with his acting. As a lyricist and a musician, he's definitely on point and on par with anybody who's out on the scene right now. And most of those cats can't act too. Okay. And overall, as a human, he's genuine. He's just genuine. You understand what I'm saying? So that's going to be number one. Okay. Number two, I'm going to put B Blaze on the team because I gotta have somebody who I know is willing to grind. You know, people don't understand. I've worked with people, you know, who don't want to go hit the street, who don't have the personality, who don't want to promote the projects that they do, okay, and don't have the drive or the hustle to want to take it to the next level. B Blaze and I are two totally different types of people. But, you know, I need that type of diversity around me. And I know he's going to be on his game in terms of energy, in terms of content, getting out there, talking with the people, doing different things. So real talk, it's like three men side by side. Those are the first two. Now, when we start to get to the outside, and these are people I work with. So this isn't something, you know, no disrespect to somebody else, but it's kind of like this. Part of how
let them get their feelings hurt, man.
Yeah, part of the reason I'm saying what I'm saying is based upon repeat work and knowing these people enough. If I'm going to put the house on them, I'm gonna put the house on somebody who I know and trust. And the truth is, there's a lot of people out there who are very talented. And I could go over a lot of names of talented people, but I'm not going to gamble and try to win with people who I don't have relationships with currently too often. I'm just gonna be honest. That's just not how I'm built. I'm going away from the formula if I do that. So the next person I definitely put on the team would be Quayla. Yeah, I'm putting Quayla on the team because, you know, her business mind.
Y'all have done, it makes sense. Y'all have done work together, and you know, she is a business-minded woman, entrepreneur, artist. Yeah. So she's going to be on the team. She's already on the team. Shout out to my Vicariously Me Marketing. She's done great work in terms of my website. A lot of people may not know she is responsible for helping put together the documentary that was done about the movie making process. So when the chips were down, we came together, recalibrated what was going on, talked about what needed to happen, what did happen, and we put together a plan to move forward.
And that's the type of people you need on your team. The people who
Mm-hmm.
not shining no more from the outside view, because people don't know what we go through. People don't know what you had to go through to get onto the radio, the sacrifices, the late nights, the artists who came to the show 30 minutes late and still wanted to get on, even though their time would, all these things, and people are expecting you to accommodate them. This is what we go through as promoters, content providers, platform providers. Thank you for the platform you provide, because that's one of the highest compliments that a person can receive, because there's value in your platform. You've created a platform for people to talk, speak, promote, and market their product. And I want to shout out to you for that, because everybody doesn't appreciate that. They just don't.
Hey, that's love, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, real talk. Because it's just important, because without these platforms, yeah, we might not be HBO, yeah, we might not be MTV, but how do you think the people get to those shows?
Mm-hmm.
How do you think they find them? They don't find them all the time through those pages that you promote, these Facebook ads that you promote. They go through people like what we do. And that's the way and the vehicle for people to get seen sometimes. And people who appreciate that and see that, they're one step ahead of the game. So definitely going back to what you were saying, Dream Team, Quayla, Quayla B. Blaze, Haifa. That's my core.
One name left. There's one name left.
And one name left. Now, this is the thing, right? I gotta have a wild card. I gotta have a wild card, right? And the wild card is gonna be based in somebody who I don't already have on the team. But I think that if I was working with them, we could make some noise in the city. We can make some noise in the city. And I got to think hard on this one. Because I got my core. I really got my Voltron in these individuals. And I'm gonna go over who I could say and I'm not gonna say.
Okay.
I respect what Tom G is doing. I really do. I think that a lot of things he's done is overdue in terms of success. Fresh P, I see what he's doing. I've worked with him on What's Real Hip Hop. I can see a lot of in what he's doing as well. But, and this is going to be surprising, we have to start to redefine what we consider art. We have to start redefining what we consider as art. So I'm gonna need a female on the team. I'm gonna need a female on the team because I got two guys. I gotta have two guys, two females, balance this thing out. And since I have like the marketing aspect and the business mindset kind of going, believe it or not, Ryder Reyes, I'd put on the team. Ryder Reyes would be on the team because she has the ability to, from a passion standpoint, she puts her heart and soul into things. She interviewed me and did an article and just went above and beyond to explore the purpose and the passion of what I do. And when people are committed to something like that, and she's young and she's attractive, and that's that young demographic that, that brings in that energy. You know, we're getting to an age now to where we have to have that light, that lifeline to that younger generation. And I think that she could be on the team and basically make the team have that next generation on deck and get whatever we need from a business standpoint, from a writing standpoint, from being in the street, and from lyricism standpoint, we would have everything that we needed to move forward.
That's a pretty solid four right there, man. And Ryder actually started off with us on the podcast way back to begin with. Like she was part of it until we ended up going to FM radio. So we shout out to Ryder Reyes, for real. Good people, man. That's family right there. She also interviewed me. I think I'm the first 2-time interview she's had on there. Actually, now I think about it. But
Okay.
we've done some work together, man. That's a good foursome right there. So Ryder Reyes, Quayla, B Blaze, Hyphen the Prospect.
Absolutely.
Versatile.
Gotta be.
Versatile.
Definitely.
Before we get out of here, what else do you want to say to the people?
Well, I'll tell you. We got these shirts here, and sometimes I give away shirts. Tone, you already know I gotta get you. What size are you, bro?
I'm a 2.
You're a 2. So I
Mm-hmm.
got the tank top joints, and then I also have the t-shirts, and it's just something to remind us that you see 2020 in the background. I got to switch that out for my next theme.
Oh, people mad at me because I'm still rocking your shirts, man. I got the red, the green, and the blue. I'll be out here in things.
And I got to get you. The
You got a 2020 shirt on? Yeah, man. Fuck 2020. That shit's done with.
And the thing about it is, like, the media company that I'm trying to start to work on, 2020 Vision Film and Media. This content with Transition Talks. This content with film. I'm trying to put it under that umbrella because great things can be born out of tragic times. Emergency is one of the innovators of thought. So 2020 was an emergency for a lot of people. But I tell you what, if you ain't had the hustle in you in 2020, going into 2021, the hustle just not in you. You have to create things. And sometimes creating, it comes from a place of necessity. We do this. I think I have to do this to live, man. I'll be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see myself not being able to do something as an outlet to be able to function as a balanced human. So it's not a choice for people who want to have a fullness of existence. To me, I'm not the flip on the TV, sit on the couch guy. I'm just not. So the t-shirts are available for $15. Not trying to hit anybody over the head. The documentary is also available for purchase for $10 as well. The website, 2020 Vision film.com is up, and you can order through there, or you can hit me up on social media as well. Big HLW or Big Business and Events. And at this particular time, that's really all I'm pushing. It doesn't mean that's all I'm working on.
I feel you. And yeah, just like I know, man, we can't say everything because people are really up here watching, trying to get some type of ideas for what to do next. And yeah, right. We can't go out like that, man. I want to say thank you for taking time out to talk with me tonight, man. It's a family thing every time we link up, but we went over time. It's whatever, man. We've had fun talking, and it's like getting to chop it up with you. But one thing, like I said, I respect you because you do what I do, and I see that you take a different approach to it, and you're always thinking of different ideas to present to the people. Like when you do your events, they have purpose behind them, and not everybody can say that they have that. And I respect the fuck out of that. So thank you for bringing purpose to the table. Shout out your social media information one more time.
Absolutely, brother. I appreciate the energy and the passion that I think you make people feel comfortable with enjoying events that they may not want to go to until they know you're involved. Because I think that's why
you're like that sometimes. It be like that
straight
sometimes.
Up, like, and you've hosted my events, because it's I don't know what it is, man. Like there's a comfort in people knowing what brand you've created. And that's a testament to what you're bringing to the table. If Tone is hosting, literally people say, who gonna be there? Well. And then if they say your name, now all of a sudden they're contemplating going or purchasing a ticket to go.
I've had people come to our events for years at a place that they could not stand because me and Spaceship's name was on there. So I believe it, man. It means a lot to me for that because you're a business-minded person. I've built the value in the brand, and people feel like they can come out and support it. So, as a businessman, you know how important that is, right there.
Absolutely. So, yeah, definitely appreciate you for that. The social media. So the Instagram. The people who watch and you paying attention. My name on social media is a little bit different. Facebook is Leewood Herb. Leewood Herb. My first name is not Lee, but got too many people trying to, clout chase and document my whereabouts. So I had to switch up the social media there. Leewood, exactly. WOULD Herb, HERB. And that's on Facebook. The Instagram is Big HLW, BIG HLW, and Big Business and Events, all spelled properly, all spelled correct. Those are my two Instagram pages. And I don't really do Twitter. So that's how to find
And how
me.
often can they catch Transition Talks?
Been doing transition talks every week, man, every week. And it's kind of crazy because I had to step my game up. I was doing, sometimes people say less is more, but I felt like the people needed regular
Consistency.
Well, and it was taking consistency to a different level too, almost to the point to where after 20 straight weeks of doing it, I said, I'm gonna take some time off on this.
Yeah.
Just put up some repeats because you want to add value, but you can wear yourself thin. You can do so much, and right now I'm doing probably like 3 things at once with the event and with transition talks and the different things that I got. I ain't gonna tell you that last one. But it's important to allow yourself time to kind of recalibrate as well. But yeah, we've run just some algorithm numbers. We're at about 250, 300 on average, over 7,500 views in 7 months. And for people who don't do this, they don't understand that for 200 people plus in a week's time frame to say, look, I want to go see what they're doing, there's value in that. And there's value in that, and able to do that. And those are your average numbers. People are clicking, people are watching, and they're being fed by what's being said, and that's worth being, paid for. But it's not something we're charging for right now. That will soon change. But we want to provide something that people can benefit from, like what we're doing right now.
Straight up, man. Transition Talks every week. January 29th, he got the 2021 event coming on. And that's the dude right there, man. Big business. In every sense of the word, that's the homie. And once again, man, thank you for taking time out to talk to me on the Tone Deaf Testimonies. And I'm looking forward to our next conversation to ask you what's changed since now, because you know how that is, man. I'm always that dude that likes to update and just revisit things. So I love to see you doing good, bro.
Yeah, and you as well, man. I tell you, everything you do, it's something that I use as yeah. He's doing it. I need to have a conversation with him and ask him a couple of questions and make sure I'm aligning myself with my best opportunity and possibility for success. And you're one I can always trust and go to for an honest opinion. And I do want to say this, even in terms of what I go through with the movie process. You said some valuable information, and I'll follow up on that later on when I see you, in terms of calibrating the next move in terms of the movie. A lot of stuff, this movie making business thing, it's a monster. It's new to me. And some things you said actually helped me align myself with the next move that I'm going to make with the team. So I appreciate
what's up.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got to figure out what it was I said.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to rewatch this. Like, oh.
Yeah. So, like I say, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. We can't stop, won't stop. Like Diddy said.
Already, bro. Already,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Well, thank you again. Get back to whatever you're doing, man. Stay safe out there. And when I see you, man, it's on.
You already know. Much love, brother. You take care of yourself,
Yes,
and I will see you soon.
All right, Ken, folk. Be easy, man.
Yes, sir. Peace.
This is Tone Capone.
And DJ Spaceship.
And Saturday nights from 10 to midnight, we bring you
Waves of the Bay.
Right here on WMNF 88.5 Tampa.
With the hottest interviews, the hottest music.
You can submit your music for the Tampa Bay Watch segment at wavesofthebay@gmail.com or follow us on all social media at Waves of the Bay.
Every Saturday, 10 to 12. Make sure you come and ride the wave.
Yes, sir.